Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Bilyana Anicic. I'm an enterprise architect helping organizations with their digital transformations. Today, I will be talking to you a little bit about location intelligence and blockchain as part of the topic of sort of greater digital transformation. We will be bringing together the power of location intelligence and blockchain technology for an increased speed of accuracy and of transactions and improved decision making. So let's get started. On a lighter note, I wanted to talk about digital transformation quickly. I'm not sure how many of you remember Dilbert clippings on cubicle walls sort of in the early 2000s. Well, even Dilbert transformed, and not only going from sort of paper to digital, but also they're talking about blockchain. So what is blockchain and how will it influence our strategy across all product lines? Kidding aside, let's talk about that topic. So locating the blockchain, we will start with the why, a bit about digital transformation and why blockchain. Also, location and blockchain together, they represent a game changer both for their utility and disruptive potential. And at the end of the talk, we'll be connecting the dots through practical applications and potential uses of these two technologies. And I will try to have all that for you in 20 minutes. So digital transformation is sort of simplifying processes, going from paper to digital or analog to digital, but really going from process-based to more data-driven. And usually digital transformation involves obviously, people and expanding their knowledge and literacy, data literacy or digital literacy, but also it's powered by digital technologies. So we've seen many examples of that, even newspaper industry that we mentioned, how it transformed from sort of paper to digital, but at the same time, there are many drivers for change still influencing digital transformation of our world. And some of those drivers are mobility. We're all equipped with phones and mobile devices of all sorts, generating unprecedented amounts of data, so IoT data as well. We're all concerned about privacy and security. We are a connected society. Also, our citizens' expectations are changing based on all these changes as well. And we're all interested in sort of data quality. We want to make sure that if we're using data to make our decisions, that data is accurate. So COVID-19 obviously just accelerated this transformation. And as a result, many organizations had to transform quicker than anticipated. So all this sort of data and technology innovation brings new possibilities and opportunities. So how are we sort of thinking of those influencing our lives? We're looking for trust. We want to keep our food safe, medical records private, and our money secure. And these are just a couple of sort of important things and use cases. And blockchain automates trust. So we will see how blockchain can be used to enable these use cases. We're also looking for value, and data becomes more valuable with location and proximity known. So from the location perspective, location adds value to blockchain data and transactions. Who uses blockchain? So there are many companies using blockchain for many different applications. So whether it's for bank and finance, supply chain, healthcare, insurance, energy, real estate, trade, government, IoT, travel, you name it. We'll be touching on some of the Walmart's use cases and also some of the healthcare sort of industry, as well as Maersk in terms of IoT and supply chain management. So blockchain technologies could boost the global economy by 1.76 trillion US by 2030 through raising levels of tracking, tracing, and trust. So I'd like you to remember the tracking, the tracing, and trust, at least the trust piece, because it will be woven throughout the use cases, as well as sort of the summaries of the information that I will be sharing with you. So what is blockchain? So let's start with what blockchain is not. Blockchain is not a cryptocurrency. Blockchain is not Bitcoin. Bitcoin and blockchain are just, some implementations or use cases based on blockchain. It's not a bunch of hashtags or security code or Python scripts, as some people would think. Blockchain is a secure platform that lets people and organizations share information with each other with an unprecedented degree of trust and transparency. So that's a definition of blockchain, but so blocks they keep track of transactions, and these blocks are obviously linked together, and we'll see how and why. So the blockchain is just, you can think of it as a distributed database that contains the information usually about transactions. So the blockchain has its properties, and it's near real time. It's really peer-to-peer, so you don't really need an intermediary, or you don't need a third party to sort of to work through in terms of transactions. So it's distributed. There's a peer-to-peer network of computers that basically participate in this architecture. It's immutable, so it means, immutable ledger, it means that it cannot be changed, it can only be appended, and it's not editable. And it's also secure, so there's encryption, and also consensus is a key attribute. So even if you don't remember any of this, it doesn't mean that we cannot use it the same way we use internet. We don't necessarily know all the protocols it uses to be able to take advantage of it. So blockchain is kind of like that as well. We are Bitcoin is to blockchain what email was to the internet. So speaking of internet, so blockchain has many applications, as we will see, and Bitcoin is just one of them. And at the same time, that brings new opportunities. Even there's talk that blockchain will, underpin the web 3.0, which is sort of the new internet. There are many possibilities for blockchain, but let's see how we can use blockchain in sort of more practical terms. First of all, why blockchain? So we've mentioned some of these attributes already, and it's just that in terms of trust and transparency of transactions, the attributes of blockchain are key to being able to enable all these different use cases. So real-time tracking, security, no single point of failure because it's distributed, transparency because of the consensus as well, and reduced cost, trusted transactions, no third-party involvement, and of course, unalterable or immutable copies only. So let's talk about some use cases quickly. There are some very powerful examples of using blockchain, both in governments as well as private organizations. So in terms of land registration, replacing requirements for research of deeds in Sweden, obviously having a huge sort of location component to this use case. In Estonia, all personal information is stored on blockchain for basically birth and death certificates, driver's licenses, social security cards of the citizens. In terms of transportation, Maersk and IBM have a powerful platform that is used in transportation of goods, and it's tracking documents as well as managing laws and smart contracts automatically. So it's very complex, but it's that platform that lets people and organizations share information in a true sense. And many ports of authorities and different jurisdictions, as well as manufacturers and shipping companies, they all kind of participate in that on that platform. So that's really, you can look it up. There are many examples and or promotional videos on this particular platform. In terms of banking, Bank of Canada is actually leading in some of these areas where I think they're strengthening their back office. I don't think they're going to be issuing any cryptocurrencies anytime soon, but I think they're looking for blockchain as, you know, another information storage platform that can also allow them to exchange information with other banks and organizations. Manufacturing, food distribution audits. So food distribution, we mentioned at the outset that we want our food to be safe. So with Walmart and IBM, again, I'm not really kind of bolstering IBM here, but it's just they seem to have some good examples of implementation of blockchain and location intelligence, so bear with me. But they have this food trust type platform that allows them to locate food that perhaps was either contaminated or can represent a problem in the food chain. And quite quickly now, it used to take 4 to 5 days, and now they, based on this sort of platform that allows them to share this information, they're able to locate, let's say, a box of mangoes that was deemed as suspicious or was flagged as a problem in 2 seconds now. So it's really, so speaking of really streamlining the processes and digitalization and sort of digital transformation. So some more use cases. I will not dwell on any of these, but it's like a shock and awe tactic to show you that, you know, blockchain is being used extensively around the world for different applications. So we will touch, as we did already, on supply chains and healthcare, but it doesn't mean that it cannot be used for verifying the authenticity of fine art or diamonds or border control, identification, you name it, mobile payments. I mean, there are many different use cases, but we don't have the time to get into them. So we will stay with our location and insights. So all these use cases mentioned here are also quite suitable to be enabled by blockchain technology as well. For example, in autonomous cars or any other cars, there are situations when odometers are being tampered with, or there are some other fraudulent activities happening. And actually with blockchain and sort of reporting the readings, odometer readings on a regular basis, that would be impossible to tamper with, because the only source of truth would not be just that car. That information would be distributed around the network. So that's just one simple example, but you can imagine how some of these other use cases could leverage blockchain in addition to location to streamline the processes and increase the traceability and trust, as well as transparency. So let's talk about vaccines, because this is obviously top of mind for many governments as well as individuals and organizations. Let's talk about that trust and security and transparency. So this executive here is mentioning that a vaccine cannot be effective if it's not effectively distributed and trusted by consumers. And in the news, we're hearing about Moderna and IBM collaborating on using blockchain, AI, and other technologies for COVID-19 vaccine distribution. And their initial focus would be on technologies aiming to bolster trust, again, and help reduce community spread. So this is interesting. They're, again, looking for that tracking, tracing, and trust that was mentioned earlier as great potential for blockchain technology. So let's get into the details, or a bit of a detail, on trusted vaccine distribution and why is it called trusted? So bringing together the power of location intelligence and blockchain, we saw that we can increase the speed and accuracy of transactions and improve decision making. So in Canada, we had some sort of issues with vaccine supply, and there were kind of many opportunities kind of missed, or they were we were not sure if the shipments were coming, or there were some disruptions for sure, and fear that maybe some of these vaccines will spoil, being in a temperature that they're not allowed to be in, or if they were not in optimal conditions. So with blockchain technology and location intelligence working together, some call it geoblockchain. So in any regard, sort of blockchain being that sort of information layer, and with geolocation and other sort of geospatial functions and services on top of that. So companies can really ensure that they will have the end-to-end traceability and real-time visibility into distribution and chain of custody from manufacturing to administration, eliminating blind spots across public and private entities. So this is important, obviously, in managing vaccine supply. They're also looking to reduce risk, so preemptive detection and proactive notification of supply chain disruptions, adverse reactions, fraud, spoilage we mentioned, and other unexpected events help deliver the vaccines ready to go. And then safety and efficacy assurance by doing environmental monitoring of transport, again, big location component, and storage conditions, as well as rapid recall traceability, will help ensure efficacy and build trust. So that trust is the word that we've heard many times. So the promise of blockchain technology is to enable that trust. Tracking, tracing, and trust. So what are the possibilities? So digital transformation can only be successful if looked at from sort of holistic perspective, including people, data, processes, and technologies. And looking at that, so people will get greater transparency, increased efficiency, better security, improved traceability. Data will have more accessibility, integrity, confidentiality, authenticity through those attributes of blockchain. In terms of processes, we can expect more efficient exchange, privacy, security, resiliency, push versus pull. So that means, for example, government can start issuing documents, let's say, if they're connected to the hospital records, the birth would trigger the journey sort of new birth certificate being created, and actually the sort of the family can be notified, as opposed to them like applying for the birth certificates, whereas all the information is available, let's say, at the hospital. So all those things, of course, privacy and security of information would need to be considered, the ethics, but looking at the technology, location intelligence, blockchain, cloud computing, IoT, and artificial intelligence, they already are ready to enable all these use cases. So increasing trust, simplifying transactions and decision-making is something that together location intelligence or geospatial technology and blockchain can bring to us. So just quickly, transparency, security, trust, and efficiency are sort of main points that the combination of location intelligence and blockchain can bring to us as citizens, as workers, as sort of just, you know, people concerned about different things, just going about our day, but also new businesses, new business ventures, and also the future of the internet is sort of poised to be influenced by these technologies as a spatial web or Web 3.0. If you want to look it up, the possibilities are endless. So there are some really, really interesting things coming up, but we don't have the time to talk about them. So I just want you to remember these points, and the main one being value. The value blockchain brings to location intelligence is security, immutability, and trusted data. And the value location brings to blockchain is simplified transaction and decision-making experience in the true spirit of digital transformation. Merci. Thank you very much. So going back to Dilbert, I hope my talk did not cause you to sort of, you know, think that all these goofy words as in the cartoon are such as token, smart contract, certainty as a service. I mean, of course, this is funny, blockchains, node, ledger, and dApps. But kidding aside, even the creator of Dilbert is in sort of blockchain industry. There's like 17 cartoons on blockchain alone, and compared to 18 on location that aren't available. So apparently Scott Adams is involved in some blockchain companies, sort of new applications and so on and so forth. So this was just a funny thing I discovered doing some research for this talk. Anyways, so I hope this was interesting to you. I'm sure there's too much information to ponder, but let's see if we can unpack some of those terms at the question and answer period. You can also contact me. I'd be happy to share enterprise reference architectures for blockchain or any other information, as well as the sources for this talk. Thank you, and talk to you soon.
My background needs to catch up with me. Bilyana, fantastic talk. Thank you so much. I learned more about blockchain and the potential uses there than I have before. We've got a lot of, well, a couple at least to start us off with. Folks, the Q&A is open. If you've got questions about blockchain and its use, now's a great time. So let's just dive right into the first one. What future do you think blockchain will play in anti-money laundering efforts in the future? Can blockchain be used for social change as well?
That's a great question. Thank you. They're saying blockchain is a great equalizer, and it will contribute to democratization. It will also help, so it doesn't matter how much money you have, you may have access to blockchain and then start your own ventures or apply your ideas. accordingly. What's interesting is that not only that individuals are leveraging blockchain right now, but it's also the governments, excuse me, the smart contracts piece, not needing an intermediary. Smart contracts can execute based on an event, usually location, which is also very interesting. So this is kind of a equalizer for many companies and individuals to start leveraging this technology. So in terms of trust, in terms of consensus and all these other attributes we mentioned, it will be more difficult for sort of dark web or other parties to conduct their own business without being discovered. But at the same time, I don't know if this will mean the end of to illegal activities, but it can certainly strengthen the position of the good guys and their ability to trace transactions much quicker than in the past. So if it took, I don't know, 5 days to locate that contaminated box of mangoes, and then instead of that, now it takes 2 seconds, I would say that, criminal could be, found much quicker than, in the past as well. So my answer is kind of long-winded, but without being the expert on the criminology or anything like that, I can see that this technology can help processes regardless what they are, but they can speed up the processes and strengthen the transactions, the security of transactions.
Thank you very much. The next question is from Paul. Could blockchain be used as a storage service in the future?
Yes, I've heard that, for example, satellite data or other data services for automatic storage and sort of authenticity security. There are some interesting use cases being explored. Yes, it can.
Great, thank you. And one from Melanie. What is involved in implementing a blockchain? That seems a little broad.
It's very easy. I created my own cryptocurrency. I created my own smart contract as part of the course that I took at MIT. Anyone can do it, pretty much. Not anyone, but you need to be, I guess, you don't need to be as geeky as me to do it, but I'm pretty sure that it's fairly easy to do. It's an architecture, it's free, it's an open architecture that anyone can leverage. So I don't see it being cost prohibitive. But of course, you may want to take advantage of some of the existing platforms, such as the IBM one that exists, that you can leverage right away. In fact, I think ArcGIS can connect to blockchain easily already. The geo-blockchain concept is already there. It's just like another data source. In simplified terms, like it's already happening.
Excellent, thank you. Another question. I'm not sure I understand this question. Can you see it?
Which one?
There's only one.
4.0.
Yeah.
For blockchain as the same industry 4.0. So yes, industry 4.0 or fourth, industrial revolution are already leveraging blockchain. So so we know that, like if you remember the article, John, and from like a couple of years back that we wrote about fourth industrial revolution and how sort of new technologies would be poised to enable different use cases and all this acceleration of change that happened as a result of COVID-19. We never mentioned blockchain at that time, but now I can see it being as the crucial part because that trust component, because of that security component, because of the ability to streamline the processes, and also the consensus, the peer-to-peer versus central sort of like it speeds up the process when you have that automatic recognition or automatic, let's say, execution of a contract based on location. So those are definitely blockchain can be part of, I mean, it already is part of Industry 4.0. If we're referring to the same term, I just translate that as fourth industrial revolution. But if you have, if this does not answer your question, please provide some clarification.
There's another question. Can parallel blockchains exist? One for good guys and one for bad guys?
Yes. Yes, they can. But the thing is, the blockchain was kind of only known by bad guys in the beginning, and now the good guys are catching up. I don't know if that helps, but yes, like anything, right? Like it's not about like database can be used by bad guys or good guys, or so either way, as long as there's that equalizer of opportunities and maybe more people having access to resources, then it will not be as attractive to having to hide from those opportunities or anything like that. You'll always have people wanting to, I don't know, hide their taxes, hide their incomes, or whatever it is, the Panama paper things. But I didn't really obviously spend much time researching the sort of the dark examples of blockchain, only more sort of
we've got some more questions we'd like to get to as we run out of into the break. What is geo about geo blockchain?
Geo is the location intelligence. It's the it's your geolocation, all the geospatial functions on top of the blockchain that you can utilize. For example, smart contracts are part of blockchain, but they're often executed automatically, actually for the most part. And the triggers for them are locations. For example, if you were to rent an Airbnb apartment and only want to pay once you've entered the apartment, you could do that with blockchain quite easily. And the location will be the key kind of trigger to you doing that. So whether it's the address or whatever. So all of your traditional geospatial or geo attributes are preserved, plus your location, your X and Y coordinates. That's in addition to blockchain. So those are more attributes to the data, but all of your functions and your services that you can use, like proximity, you can use routing, you can use, like, look at, Uber, for example. For their transactions to be not changed, immutable, you would have full traceability of a ride. Like if, for example, the driver committed a crime, you could see exactly what happened. But the location, of course, is going to be part of it as well. And all the functions are there.
Fantastic. Okay, well, we've run into the break. Bilyana, we've got a few more questions. Sure. I'm going to leave them up. Maybe you could answer them off of the live. Thank you all so much. We've got a break coming up, and after the break, it's the final panel for GeoIgnite. We've got a very interesting panel, which the provincial and territorial geospatial leadership from Canada, some of the representatives from CCOG, that if you were with us previously, you would have heard about. It should be very interesting. The OGC is moderating, Trevor Taylor. So, and then it'll be a quick wrap on the conference. So we'll see everybody back here in a bit.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bilyana.